Miri, do you want to respond to the fact that, a lot of people see this as Netanyahu delaying the ceasefire deal, of Prime Minister Netanyahu, not agreeing to the fact that Israel will not strike Hamas even if there is a ceasefire deal and the hostages are returned? And that is two of the most important conditions that Hamas has put forward: a lasting ceasefire deal for the hostages to come back and for Israeli soldiers to withdraw from the border.
We're talking about a war that was started by Hamas by, as we all know, both massacring 1,200 Israelis and taking all of those hostages from their homes, as you said at the beginning, and holding them for the last 11 months. And I agree with some of what was said before, but when I focus on it, it isn't that there's a yes-no answer to your question. It depends on how you look at things. How can I, as an Israeli, have something like Hamas? They already did October 7th. They planned it. And we have all seen over the last 11 months that we understand now that Hamas was planning this for a very long time. It didn't start with the judicial unrest and with the protests against Netanyahu. It started before, by the way, Netanyahu was prime minister then as well. So how you run the war, how you do negotiations...
I absolutely understand what you're saying, but this is also, remember, coming at the cost of the lives of your own citizens. Israeli citizens, Israeli hostages are being killed.
And that's why, as I look at it from my point of view, I want Israel a democracy. It's not a dictatorship. The Netanyahu doesn't get to decide in that sense on behalf of all of us. He's supposed to be doing this with his government. And at this stage, what's happening is that the members of his government represent a portion of Israelis that, for me, I'm saying from my point of view, do not represent me for sure. And in that sense, what they're saying is fight until the end. Hamas has to be destroyed. And if I right now, as a terror expert, as somebody who looks at terrorism, I look at that and I say, what am I telling Hamas? That they have no way out? Of course, what did they do? They executed hostages literally when they were going to be found by Israel rather than give them up. And we cannot allow that. Our moral fiber of our country will fall apart. And Netanyahu cannot only listen to his coalition government that represent portions of Israel, he has to listen to all of us. And right now, I absolutely am one of those inside Israel that say, I don't believe Hamas. I don't want them to exist afterwards. But for me as an Israeli, I need to know that the government is willing to take harsh steps to get back these people alive. Afterwards, let's deal with that afterwards. But if we don't do what we can, our moral fiber is being hurt. I strongly believe in this. And I think that the demonstration that came out of Israel yesterday and today, having been here, having been part of it, this is something that's coming deep within. I started by saying I'm heartbroken and I'm angry. And the only thing I can do in a democracy is go out and demonstrate, go out and protest. And I want this prime minister to listen to us, not to stand there and only represent his political base. That's not what you do in Israel right now.